You didn't want to be on the screen and be like, dang, they still can't beat the Aces. So, you know, like.
Yeah. Joining us now, she's a forward for the Phoenix Mercury, a two-time WNBA champ, six-time All-Star, and three-time WNBA Sixth Woman of the Year. One of the longest tenured players in the league. She's third all-time in regular season games played, third all-time in scoring behind only Tina Charles and Dinah Taurasi, number one all-time in playoff games played, and eighth all-time in rebounds. She played her college hoops at Auburn, was drafted by the Mercury, and spent a decade in Phoenix before being traded to the Connecticut Sun. She did 4 years there and a half a season with the Indiana Fever last year before making her way back to the desert and helping the Mercury get back to the WNBA Finals. Mom of twin daughters, the season she missed to pregnancy is one of just 2 seasons she didn't make the playoffs in her whole 17-season career. This month, she said, shrinking season is canceled. Then she filled her Instagram with one fire photo shoot after another. It's DeWanna Bonner. Hi, DeWanna.
Ooh, hi, how are you?
You've been killing the Instagram. I mean, you have always been fashionable and beautiful, but I feel like you are really getting into it now. Is that the case?
Yeah, I'm just like super into fashion now, like just showing a different side of my personality. Like most people don't get to see us like outside of basketball, so it's been super fun. It also kind of like change your mindset from just always basketball,
Yeah.
something different, something that you enjoy. So yeah, it's something that I tapped into and I just fell in love with it.
I feel like I blame the fit checks at Unrivaled for that. Because I feel like that's when I started to notice. And I was like, okay, face card every time. But then also like, I could tell you were like feeling yourself at Unrivaled. Yeah. And I feel like it carried over.
It's definitely a confidence booster for sure.
Yeah.
But I just have fun. It's just a lot of fun just trying to experiment like different hairstyles and trying to figure out something I like besides basketball. So
that's great.
It's been fun. Yeah, definitely.
Well, speaking of basketball, your Mercury are off to a 2-2 start to the season. Yeah. You blew out the Aces in the opener. You spoiled their ring night. I have to ask where you were for the ring ceremony. Were you watching it or did you say like, let me know when that's over?
No, I think we were in the locker room at the time. They the coaches were talking to us.
Okay.
We were just trying to focus on the game plan, but we didn't get to see any of it.
Well, the game plan worked. You joined the Mercury mid-season last year, and you helped them to a finals run. How did you adjust so quickly to a new team, new system, and make sure that you were a part of what they were already building?
Oh man, I don't know if I actually, like adjusted the whole season. It was tough coming in halfway, and they were already playing so well. So of course they want to be the one that messed it up, but it's kind of a whirlwind because that was my first time like changing teams, and especially mid-season and my whole career. Like even overseas, I've never done that. So it was hard to get my mental back and like just focus on basketball and not worry about the outside noise. Of course, it's kind of hard to block out, but thankful for the organization and my teammates. They kind of just made it a little bit easier for me.
Yeah, and having been there before probably helped. Like you were returning somewhere familiar.
Yeah, it was definitely when it came to the fans, but everything was so different when I came back. They got this like dope practice facility that we didn't have. The locker room is different. I walked in on the first game and I'm like going to the old locker room, like, no, the locker room's this way. So like everything was just so different, but it was the same place and same love. So that helped a lot.
Yeah. You mentioned the outside noise. That's mainly because you started the season with Indiana. You wanted out. They helped you find a new home. Why wasn't Indy a fit for you?
I just think that it just didn't work. A lot of different things, a lot of different reasons, a lot of different factors. But for the main reason, I feel like it was just not a fit for my family. I have 2 young girls that are most important for me, and that's who I'm taking care of. I make their decisions. I'm responsible for them. So I just felt like it wasn't the right fit for me and my family at the time. And Indy worked with me to find a great fit. So that it just worked out in the end for everyone.
Well, and it shows because you stayed, right? There was a ton of free agent movement in the offseason. So many players went to new homes, but you stayed in Phoenix. So did you take some meetings and look around, or did you always know you wanted to stick around?
I'm pretty much one, like, if I'm comfortable and everything works out for me, like I said, especially for my kids, they don't have to worry about anything here, So when I come to the game, I don't have to even focus on them. The Mercury kind of take them off my hands and take care of them. They feed them. They have them in pajamas by the time I'm ready after the game, things like that. So once I find that and I feel like my family is comfortable, especially my kids, I'm good to go.
Yeah. Not a lot of change for the roster for the Mercury, but so far the addition of DeWanna Bonner.
So? Because I feel like we got a lot of change.
Really? Okay, tell me about it. What feels different?
I mean, we just got a lot of new people that hasn't played in the W before. We got a lot of foreigners. We've had people in and out. We still got people coming back. We still don't have our whole roster. So training camp's kind of been like a whirlwind for us. Like we kind of just been playing on a whim. So, but we do have 6 familiar faces, and also, unfortunately, we had the injury to Sammy, so that kind of sucked too. But
Yeah.
we got some firepower in here. I think people are starting to see it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what I'm thinking of is like free agents coming, but it was mostly like rookies. So drafted,
Yeah.
and then you're right, foreign players who are new to the team but aren't someone that we saw in a different place first. So for me, it feels like fewer free agents coming, but there's a lot of new faces, and one of them
Definitely.
is DeWanna Bonner, who's been huge. She drops 19 in her first game with y'all. Then she has 27 on Friday, a record for an undrafted WNBA rookie. Tell me about it. You guys call her Yo-Yo. Tell me about Yo-Yo. Were you all as surprised as maybe the fans were when she got off to such a hot start?
Of course, you know, you heard about her. She's Serbian, so they just go get it. They go get after it. But I mean, I think being on the floor with her, it was like, okay, we didn't practice with her. Let me note that with when we played the Vegas game,
Wow.
we didn't have one practice with her because she had to go through a couple visa things. So literally, she just flew in. He's like, "You're starting today." I'm telling you, we went out there on a whim and just kind of just played that first game, and we were like, she hit the first one, like, okay. She hit another, like, okay. Man, like, and she's just confident. She has no fear. And I think that's the biggest thing about her. Like, usually people, when they first come here and, you know, kind of step on this stage, it's like, you're kind of trying to figure it out. And she just nose diving in. And she's like, I mess up. And she come talk to us and we give her advice and stuff. So she's just fearless, man. And I love that about her.
Yeah, there's something to be said too for you saying like, if I've never practiced with you, I don't know anyone, I can't be expected to know a system. I'm just going to hoop. And then that's what you get, right? And so how do you keep that mindset later in the season where you're still making it first about just hooping and having fun within a system, but like maybe taking a little pressure off yourselves to just let it be free? Wow, what a good lesson from that. That's interesting.
Yeah, for sure. It was fun. I think that's just kind of what made it fun. It was just kind of like, we're going to go. Of course, you have that taste of like losing in the finals and you want to beat them. You didn't want to be on the screen and be like, dang, they still can't beat the Aces. So, you know, like, So we kind of just like, let's just go hoop and whatever happens, happens. And it just made it was super fun for us. I think it was a great first start for them as well. Yeah.
You mentioned the Phoenix facility. I got to see that during the Final Four. There was a party and event there. Incredible.
Yeah,
I was
amazing.
like, man, I was like kind of emotional. I don't know. I was like, this is what they deserve. Like every time I turned a corner and saw something, I was like, man, this is so cool. Like, what's your favorite
You sound
part?
like me when I first got here. I mean, I walk in and you just see the practice court within, like, we could just walk in at any moment. Let's just start there. Like, it can be 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. You want to get shots, you can get shots. But that's the people that they have. You literally can't avoid it either because the offices is, like, facing the front door. You can't, so you have to speak to everyone. You have to get to know everyone. It just still feels like everyone is still a part of this, no matter if you're just here to work or play basketball. So first, let's start the people. But, I mean, we have, especially at this point in my career, I don't want for anything to take care of my body. And I'm just appreciative of that. Like, I just got off the massage table and then I can go get in the sauna if I want to. Just anything we need is just here. And I'm just so grateful for that, especially coming from where it started and you had to do a cold tub in the pool. So,
right.
Like a self-made pool and just dump the ice in there and sit in it. So, like, oh, man, it's just been great. Yeah, I love being home. I wish we could play all our games here.
Yeah, well, and there's something, you know, when your whole job is your body, the idea for such a long time that women athletes had to figure it out for themselves instead of it being part of the job it's just so nice.
And I feel like you don't think you need it when you're younger, you know, like you don't take care of your body that way. And then you older, you're like, yeah, I need this. You know, so.
Yeah, should have started this a while ago. That's like my friend who's older than me, and I would make fun of her like facial regime at night. I'm like, how many creams are you using? And at a certain point I go, okay, damn, I should have been doing that a while ago. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, now tell me all your secrets. You know, you mentioned like being able to go in there whenever you want to play, and like that was one of the criticisms of a place like Connecticut, right? A franchise that gets some grief for sharing a practice facility, not maybe meeting the current moment in the W. And you've seen now from the bottom to the top, like what difference does it make for players to have the most modern facilities and resources?
Yeah, you know, at the time in Connecticut, you didn't really realize it what you didn't have, but we also had such a close team that it didn't even matter. Like, our team was just super, super close in Connecticut. So that kind of made up for, like, what we did off the court. And then you come to Phoenix and you're like, oh wow, like you got a close team and we're missing all this. But I mean, just being able to come in and get your meals cooked for you on game days where you don't have to go out and, spend an hour or two trying to figure that out, or like the trainers being on call, massaging, anything. But it's definitely a huge difference, and just make your career go by a little bit faster because you're in this luxury and you're in this moment you never wanted to end. But but at the same time, it's just so helpful, and especially when the rookies, when they come in, it saves you a lot of money. Like we don't pay for meals anymore, you just save money, and that into it can go to other things, your family and things like that. So it's definitely a huge difference. But Connecticut was great too because we also had each other. We just had to figure out on our own. So it was like a bittersweet type of thing.
Yeah, it's like war or like a fraternity pledge. Like you go through some tough shit together and you're like very bonded.
It's that very bonded. Like we did everything together. So like, where you're eating, let's figure this out together type of thing. So it was cool. It was cool.
You mentioned never wanting to leave. You got to get on that Diana Taurasi plan where you retire with the team. They put your name somewhere in there, and then you get the all-time key card. You just come back, right? 10 years later, you're still using the facility. They're like, DeWanna, you haven't played in a decade.
Exactly. Like, how do you do that? But yeah, definitely.
The new CBA addressed the facilities, right? Giving teams the deadline to get to a certain standard. How much do you think players took into account team facilities and player experience during this offseason as they were choosing their new teams?
I think that's just going to be the new norm. Like you want to go somewhere, especially you don't play off season anymore. You don't go overseas to play anymore. So you need somewhere to train. You need somewhere that you can still take care of your body, and you need somewhere that you can fly into and still feel like you like a part, like home, So I think that's the main thing you're looking for, especially with no off season. I know for me that was important. I could still call and come to Phoenix and like, I want to work out right here. I want to, train right here. I want to do these things. So in Connecticut, we didn't really have that luxury. You kind of had to share the facility with someone else. So it's like, oh, you can't come this week, but here it's all day. And I just feel like that's huge. That's so huge.
Where's home base for you when you're not in season?
Right now it's Nashville.
Okay, cool.
My girls are in school there. So yeah, I can drive home like super close to my mom. So I have a great off season.
Nice.
Yeah.
How closely were you following the CBA negotiations during the off season? Were you like on top of it every second or just checking back in when you had meetings?
I'm like the player rep here. I got thrown in the fire, kind of on that. So I was kind of on top of it because, like I said, we have a lot of people who are overseas too. So I wanted to make sure they understood what was going on and kind of stayed in the loop. They better give me a good grade on how I, kept in contact with them. I took pride in that. So
good.
I was always on the meetings. I tried to, stay in the loop, and just being one of the older ones, I was, wanting everybody, the retired players, to get something out of this as well because it was time. They deserved it. So just kind of spoke up on that area. But yeah, I was in there. I was in the
Do they actually give you a grade somewhere? Like, do they get asked, like, how did your player representative?
No, but somebody should ask them so I can know.
You're like, because I'm pretty sure I got an A and that needs to be written down somewhere.
Exactly, A+.
A+, my bad.
A+.
Is there any part of the CBA that's maybe less talked about that you're particularly excited about?
That's a good question. I don't know. I kind of feel like everything's been kind of like talked about and, thrown out, but
I just feel like childcare, maybe, I don't know, with the kiddos.
They kind of handled that a little bit the last CBA, and I feel like it's kind of the same. Like it was important then, and it's still important now. So I'm glad that didn't change. But I can also, let's say, like I guess post-retirement benefits, especially if something happened to you at that time, then your kids would be taken care of. They're still up for like whatever you have in that moment. So yeah, I think that was the main thing for a lot of us because. We unfortunately had the passing of like Kara Braxton and, like she was a part of this. So now her son can be like taken care of. So all of that is just like, it's huge. Yeah,
and that's part of the veteran players getting paid out from the league as part of that new CBA, which is really such a beautiful thing for them to look back and say, we want to recognize who built this and built it at a time where there wasn't this kind of financial support for them. And so, like you said, a player who has passed would still get that benefit. It would go to the family. But you are still playing, but you've played long enough to already be getting paid for having been here for so long.
Right?
So you're doubling up. Like, how nice did that feel for you to hear that they were thinking about folks like you in the meetings?
Oh, definitely. That was huge. I love that so much. I'm appreciative for that. I'm just blessed that I'm still be able to, benefit from this CBA and still play on this CBA. And it's just, I don't take it for granted. I come here every day with a smile. Trust me, I don't take it for granted.
Well, I want to talk about that because you're nearly 40. I'm not gonna push ahead. You know, nobody wants to get there too bad, but you're almost
40
there.
40 is the new 30, so I'm okay.
I mean, I agree. Like every time I watch an old TV show and they're having like some 50-year-old birthday and the person's like gray and like on the Golden Girls already, I'm like, no, we're not doing that.
Not yet. Yes.
But you know, we talk about a lot how the W is a tough league to make and stay in because the rosters are so small. So to what do you attribute your sticking power, your ability to not just stay on a roster, but continue contributing at a high level?
Yeah, I think I always say this, but I literally had the blueprint. I mean, I came in my rookie year playing behind or watching DeWanna Taurasi every single day. So, I mean, she did it for 20 years and obviously it worked. So what other, what more can I ask for? Like, what other plan do I need to learn from? So I seen how hard you work and what it takes to stay there, what it takes to be a champion, what it takes to win when you're in this. So I literally had it step by step, day by day for 10 years that I played for her. So that kind of made it easy. I was thankful for that. I mean, I came in and won a championship. So
rookie season, off the bat, not too bad.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like I learned early. I learned my first year. So the championship habits and benefits. So definitely that.
I would correct you and say you played with her, not for her, but it's DeWanna Taurasi, so you were playing for her. Everybody was playing for her.
Right.
That's the way she did it.
In a heartbeat. Exactly. Yeah.
Is there anything particular you're doing now to keep your body ready? I mean, you're so long and lean that you probably don't have like the joint stuff that some folks have of like the weight of carrying a body and being big and muscles and all that other stuff. But you also look fragile out on the court to some of us. We're like, how does she not break out there? And you've stayed really healthy and you're still out there at 38, 30. So like, what's your secret? What are you doing now? Or what do you think now you need to do that maybe you didn't before?
That's a good question. I feel like I've done the same besides, you know, I don't play overseas anymore and I train really hard, but then also I have the benefits of training with Alyssa, who's like, she's gonna go get it, you know. So I'm trying to keep up with her.
She's just like using you as a barbell.
Exactly, pretty much, and she pushes me to like, I'm like, oh, you can do that. Oh, I can do it better, you know. So like training with someone like that in the off season, that helps as well. She just pushed me even more. I'm like, okay, I can still do this another couple of years, but also being in communication with Nate when. It's, you know, like, he's like, you don't need to practice today. You know this stuff. So, you know, take the time off.
Nice.
You know, go take care of your body. Like, he's very good at that. So, he has to, like, rip me off the court sometimes. I'm like, no, I'm practicing. He's like, no, go. You know, so just kind of keep a healthy balance for sure.
Is there anything in the weight room that you can outdo AT in?
Oh, let me think. You know, I am like the one that's like the flexible like type of thing. She's not flexible at all. So I'm the one that does like the Pilates poses and like all that stuff. And I can hold it longer than her. Like she's like, I quit. So maybe that, but strength wise, definitely not.
Yeah. She's the brawn. You're the endurance.
Exactly. That's me. I can run all day. She's like, okay, I'm done.
But if she catches you, it's over.
It's over with.
It's over.
Definitely.
I mentioned in the intro, you've got a number of records already. You're top 10 all time in some pretty impressive categories. Which of your records are you most proud of?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know if I'm proud of any of them yet. Just yet. I think I need to retire first and then maybe I could sit back and think about it a little bit more. But this season, I'm just being where my feet are. Like, I'm just here. I'm just happy to be here. No game affects me to the next one. Like, no practice. Like, nothing I do. I come in with a different mindset, different energy every single day. So I think when I retire and look back at the records, like, oh, okay, I really did it.
Yeah. Well, Tina Charles just announced her retirement. As of today, you're 547 points behind her in scoring. So if you average a little over 13 points a game for the rest of the season, you would pass her this season. Will you be keeping an eye on that?
I didn't even know that till you just literally told me that. But if it happens, it happens. But third's not bad either, so I'll take it.
Yeah. And, you know, maybe next season, who knows how long you'll be around to keep chasing. Do you have any goals where you're like, okay, before I hang them up, I want to make sure I do this, other than obviously more titles?
Yeah, definitely. Just winning a championship, that's about it. But just winning a championship with Alyssa. Like, we've been trying so hard and so long that I want to see it for her. I want to see it for us. Like, She hasn't won one yet. So, you know, like I just know the work that she put in on the back end and how bad she really wants it. And no one really knows that. No one understands the pillow talk that we have. So,
Yeah.
you know, so just winning with her, I think that's the main thing.
Well, and I think for her in particular, she's always so close to MVP, so close to a title.
Yeah.
So if you know the game, everyone knows that she's incredible, but in the record books, you don't see the so closes. So you want some of those wins, you know?
Exactly, for her.
You know, one of your jumps up the all-time scoring list actually gave us one of our great only in the WNBA moments involving you and Alyssa, because she's your fiance and teammate. She assists you on the basket that helps you pass your ex-wife, Candace Dupree, to move into 5th all-time. And we're like, oh my God, only in the W do you get the current fiance.
Only in the W get this drama, huh?
We love it though, like sometimes drama, but also just like really special moments, you know, like Allie Quigley getting the assist from Courtney Vandersloot, you know, like those moments are really cool. And, you know, as the W becomes more and more mainstream, which we love, there is also some concern that there's media coming in that isn't familiar with the space, might fumble those queer storylines, might not know how to handle it. And I wonder how you find the balance between shining a light on and celebrating queer love in a way that this league always has versus like exploiting or mishandling it.
I think for us, I mean, Alyssa and I don't even know if we like, of course it's like queer love, but it's just like our love, you know, like we just live every day just like a normal couple. Like we have problems just like a normal couple. We handle our relationship, but when we walk in this arena or this practice gym, we also know that it's business no matter what. Like I feel like we handle it totally separately, but I feel as if it's just now, especially in WNBA, it's been going on for a very long time, but it's just more eyes on it. So it's just everybody wants to know the story, everybody wants to know the ins and the outs. But at the end of the day, we're human. Like we have lives outside of that. We have 2 kids that we take care of, like that we need to make sure is good and great. So we just live this life just like anyone else, trying to be great. We're trying to make this amazing outside, just like on the court. We try to do the same thing in life, and we have families that we have to take care of, and that's how we live it. Yeah, it's totally different.
Feels like too. It's like take a cue from the players and how much they're sharing, how much they want it to be a part of their story. And then for players, they can also come out the way that like Paige Beckers recently did. Hey, this is going to be our statement on this, and then we're not going to talk about it. And if you do that, then everyone should respect that. And if you don't, and you say, hey, come and learn about our life, and we want you to spotlight how cool this is and how special this is, then do that, and do that in a really cool way. Because I also know, like on our show, we're always noticing if we're like, okay, that's enough of mentioning the male fiance and not mentioning that her wife is right there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because we notice that too if it feels like it's an omission with intention. So it's finding that balance of doing it in a way that's like respectful and honoring how cool it is and not exploitative. And I think there are couples like you who have been at it for such a long time and made it clear, like you can have a tremendous success and be professional and also have this aspect to your life. And, you know, people could take cues from that and come to you for advice if they're younger.
Of course, it's like a lot of people like say like, oh, we're around your workspace and you're dating your coworkers, but I feel like it happens everywhere in the world, not just in women's basketball. So, I mean, I don't know why it's just like highlighted as more in the WNBA, I guess because there's so many storylines and we're all in this one circle, but it happens in, you know, so many other professions as well, and it's just how you handle it.
Yeah.
How mature you are about it. So
for sure. I think also because it's not in men's sports, which is a bummer. I mean, we would like to see it more and let them get to have the like, you know, open and authenticity that you get. And also we do it in like Hollywood. So I think it's a job that everybody else watches. Like if we're watching you and we see you at work, then we're also like, ooh, and this is all, you know, so we get kind of, we get nosy.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
You know, you've played in more than half of the WNBA's 30 seasons, which is incredible. You've seen so many shifts in pay, in player experience, in coverage, in media attention. What stands out to you the most when you think back over your like 17 years in terms of like jumps or transitions where the league really changed?
I mean, we could talk about now. It was just so humbling and so emotional to see when you saw such and such has $1 million contract in the WNBA, and it just kept rattling it off like over and over and over, like every other day. And I'm like, we're here. We are here. Like, this is so great. Like, this is so amazing. Like, to be like one of the first women, you know, leagues to actually fight for this, and it happens. It's just like, it just says a lot. It just says how we can all come together as a collective and make this happen. But I think that was the biggest thing for me. I couldn't believe like waking up on ESPN and
Yeah.
I think it was Jackie was the first one to get $1 million. I'm like, man, this is so humbling. Like, this is so great. And just
so cool.
Still being, that was like the coolest moment for me. I think I actually took a screenshot of it because I'm like, wow.
I love that.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been noticing you also like, even more so than normal, hyping up a lot of your fellow players of late, whether at the Met Gala or their play. And I really love that veteran space that you're in, where it's like, let me also appreciate the greatness from everyone else. And I think that's something that, particularly as women, like once you figure out your own life, how do I take care of myself? Who am I going to be?
Exactly.
What am I? And then you start looking around, you're like, how do I make everyone else get their shine and find their spotlight?
Agreed.
I also think I've been doing stuff with ESPNW since 2010. And I remember like we'd have these big picture questions every year, like when will we ever see a woman play in MLB or like all this other stuff. And one of them used to always be the first like WNBA $1 million contract and how far will we and how long will we wait? And like just being here. It's really cool to see something we've talked about.
Cool. That was so cool. That was really cool for me. Like, it was really cool.
You mentioned this year is a big pivot point, and because of the CBA, because of the eyeballs, because of the investment, absolutely. Another big one was just a couple years ago, the Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese rivalry that led into their being drafted. It felt like a sea change in some really good ways in terms of attention, but also there were a lot more people talking about the league, and a lot of them who didn't know anything about the league, didn't watch the league, didn't know the history of the league, didn't respect how the league was built. And at times it created some tension between players and some media. And at one point you got caught up in some of it. As a vet, as a respected, accomplished player, like what do you want media who's entering now and covering the W to know and remember when they're covering this league?
I just think who's done it before us. Like, I think that kind of got lost in the sauce a little bit last year or a couple years ago. Like, there's so many great stories for now. Like, let's go back to the Comets winning, just like the Aces. Like, history kind of repeats itself, and it was just not about the now. Like, the WNBA always, we spoke up about a lot of different things. So, like, go back and look at that. Go back and, like, the bubble season, where we really stood up for social justice. Like, it's just so many things that we stood on before those moments. So let's just continue to be that way. Let's continue to be one. And whether you're a new fan, old fan, this is what we stand on this. So we believe in this. So come in and get on board with that. That's kind of what. Yeah, it kind of got lost. Like, this was before all of that, So let's not lose that. Like, we're all in this together, and we always been that way. We always been together. So let's keep it that way.
And I think the new great players, like they're absolutely a match, a spark, but that spark doesn't have anything to light if there isn't this huge bonfire that's already been built by everyone that came before.
Yeah,
and so if you don't understand that they have to spark off of everything that's been built in this history and this tradition. And I think to your point too, the sort of division works if it's in the sense of like cool rivalry. It doesn't work if it's trying to break apart a league that has always thrived because of the community and the way that it worked together to do so much more than just be about basketball. And that's so special to the W and to women's sports. We don't want to just be like men's sports and forget about the roots and the things that tie us to more. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's good advice.
If we can give the drama, we can understand like what we created this, so we can still stick together and do that as well.
Yeah,
so
like have fun with it, make the jokes. There's going to be some memes. Players are going to have to take a little bit of ribbing, especially now they're making millions of dollars. People are going to want to have, get their jokes off, but do it in a way that still respects it.
I promise we're not, and that we're human. Yeah. Like, we are human, and like some stuff is just too far.
Agreed. I also think having been in both the men's and women's space for so long, I don't expect people to know everything and be perfect, but there are too many people who walk into the women's space and don't know shit and ask questions that make it clear that they don't know that the person they're interviewing is like a 10-time all-star or used to play in a different place or won a bunch of titles. And just do your research, because people I know for sure, having been in NFL locker rooms, NBA, people are not walking in there and not knowing shit about who they're talking to. Because you would get called out and you would be embarrassed and you wouldn't get to come back in. And so give that same respect to the women.
I know. And then we want to do that. We want to call you out. But at the same time, it's like, no, we don't want to call you out. We want to make you feel welcome and comfortable too, as well.
Yeah, thank you for covering us.
Exactly.
Wish you knew anything.
I'm always trying to make sure everyone feels good. So I'm just like, no way you just asked me that. But I'm going to try to figure out how to answer it. But it would feel so much better if you knew exactly who and what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right, last question for you. 30 season milestone. Some of your early W idols, like one player that stands out to you that when you were coming up, you were like, that's the one.
Okay. Ooh, it would probably, I think I have two. It would be Cynthia Cooper and probably Cheryl Swoops. I think they were just dogs. Like, they're just winners. And I just love winners. No matter what, like season after season after season. No one knows how hard this job is. But this job is really hard. And to win, especially now, and I mean, these players are amazing. They're great. So like to win and to win consistently, like just like the aces, like to do that over and over again, man, kudos, hands down. Like I give them all the credit, all the props because it's hard. But those two, just winners. I love winners.
Says the player who's made the postseason 15 out of 17 seasons. She gets it. DeWanna, thank you so much for the time. I really enjoyed chatting with you. Thanks so much for sitting down with us.
Thank you.